Hey guys, Rudolph here this afternoon with a video on hand 3 from Tuesday night at the RBC. And a couple of concepts we'll be talking about here. A, surround plays, and B, what it means for a suit to be frozen. So the outline of the video today, I'll walk you through what actually happened in our table. Then we're going to isolate on this club suit, and we're going to talk about how it needs to be played on defense. And then we're actually going to see that, all the concepts you learn about card play on defense can be applied to declare play as well. So they're not two distinct parts of a game. They both feed off each other. We'll get into that in a minute. So this is board 3. I was sitting west and was playing with Steve Barsby. Let's see if I can pull this up. It's not important. We had an auction of one club by South. I overcalled a diamond. This is a little bit cheesy, especially at these colors. My hand is all about diamonds, so I wanted to try and attract a diamond lead if partner was on lead. I don't really think we're getting any place constructive. Probably not going to win a part score battle, but since my hand was so crummy in the other suits, wanted to go ahead and bid a diamond here. North bid 1 heart. Good job of responding here with a 5-card major and a bullet. That's good bridge to bid a heart with this North hand. Partner made a double. This is not something we had talked about specifically, but it definitely should be takeout. And, this is about what he got. I thought maybe he would have a 5th spade and maybe he would have like only 3 or a strong doubleton in diamonds. But it's a takeout double, showing spades and some tolerance for diamonds. Some people call this Snapdragon, but even without a specific agreement, which we certainly didn't. This is literally the 3rd board that Steve and I had ever played together. It's just a takeout double. So, he's got the right idea there. He's got spades and he's got support for diamonds. That's what happened. Now it's time for another, I guess not a conventional bid, but a consequence of playing a conventional bid. One of the bids that I'm harping on you to play is support doubles. And these happen by opener. After, I bid something as opener, responder bids something, and they either overcall or double on my right. And the idea surrounding support doubles or support redoubles is that you can double or redouble to show 3, and that way a raise of partner suit shows 4. So South can bid 2 hearts here. I don't think that they had that specific agreement, but it would be nice for North to know, be able to distinguish between 3 and 4 card heart support here. So if you're playing support doubles here, you would redouble with 3 hearts, you bid 2 hearts with 4. And I was sort of out of dodge. I probably shouldn't have even bid the first time. And we actually played it there. So I don't think my partner should have sold out to 2 hearts here. He knows that we have a 9-card fit in diamonds and they have an 8-card fit in hearts. So Rudolph had to sneeze. He knows we have a 9-card fit in diamonds. They have an 8-card fit, at least in hearts. So we should definitely be competing to 3 diamonds here. What actually happened was he passed. We defended 2 hearts and ended up beating at 1. We'll get into that in a minute. But definitely with 9 trumps, with our having a fit and they're having a fit, you should be competing to the 3 level here. And then perhaps, North might then compete to 3 hearts based on their having knowledge of a 9-card fit, which gets back to, it's nice to know that South has 4 for the raise. And the good thing about bidding 3 diamonds here, like you can either push the opponents to 3 hearts, which goes down when 2 hearts was making. You could push the opponents to 3 hearts down 2 when 2 hearts was down 1. You could be making 3 diamonds. They might let you play it. That would be a good result. Or you could be in 3 diamonds down 1 when the opponents were making plus 110 or plus 140 in hearts. So a lot of good things can come from competing to the 3 level when we have 9 trumps. Anyway, enough of that. Let's focus on the actual card play for the rest of this defense. So my partner, normally enough, led the king of spades. One unfortunate thing that's going to do for the defense is it's going to set up an eventual second spade trick for the offense if they can get to it. But it's, it's a completely normal lead from king, queen, jack, 4th. So we'll stop the play when it gets interesting. Declare 1 the ace of spades. started the process of drawing trumps. My partner can pitch a diamond here, you know, maybe high-low to suggest that he does like diamonds. So at this point, the trumps are drawn, and we are going to turn on our double dummy analysis. So again, remember that what this assumes is that all the players play optimally from this point out. Red numbers by a card mean that that leads to the contract being down X number of tricks. Green equal signs or numbers means that card would lead to the contract making or making X number of over tricks. So you will see that South here has a red 1 by all his cards. So everything, if everybody plays optimally at this point, should lead to 2 hearts down 1. So we played a diamond, and I went up ace here. And I want to stop right now and have you note that at this point, we have to attack clubs starting from my side in order to get our 2 club tricks. If we don't, Declare is going to have enough time, getting back to the King of Spades lead, to set up the 10 of Spades to pitch a club, and we will end up eating one of our tricks. Now, it should be odd to you that the 10 of clubs is the club that I need to lead at this point. And we'll talk about why. So if I were to lead the 7 of clubs at this point, and by the way, like if I lead a diamond to the king, all that's going to happen is my partner has a choice between either just cashing the spades and setting up the 10 there, or he could play a club, but that would freeze the suit. We'll talk about that, the meaning of that in a second. I need to play the 10 of clubs here. If I played the 7, Declare could just play small from hand, and my partner would have to play the king. South would win the ace, and then they have a finessing position leading up to the jack for a second club trick. My partner's other choice is to duck the 7 of clubs, but then the 9 wins the dummy, so that's no good. That leads to 2 club tricks for Declare. What if I led the queen? Well, the suit would become frozen if Declare just ducked in both hands. Okay, if I lead the queen at this point, and Declare just ducks it out of both hands, no one can play the club suit, right? The suit is what's called frozen. It means that no one can attack it without giving up a trick. Let's take it seat by seat. If West leads a club, let's say leads the 10, because Jack, King, and the Ace 9 are good. If he leads the 7, North can play the 4, and my partner's right back to the same Hobson's choice he had back when there were 3 cards left in the suit, right? He either has to duck and the 9 wins, or he goes up with the king, and the jack's eventually going to win. Okay, so the suit would be frozen if we led the queen, and it just went small, small, small. And I could lead a diamond to my partner's king, right? But then the problem is the suit's frozen from his side. He can't lead a club. He's end played in the club suit. If he led the king, the ace and the jack are good. If he leads the 8 or the 6, which are both the same card, Declare can play the 9 from dummy, and it's going to ride to his winning jack. Okay, so the suit's frozen from west side. It's frozen from east side. It's also frozen from north and south's vantage. Okay, and this is the definition of a frozen suit. Nobody can play it without giving up a trick. If at this point North were on lead and chose to lead clubs, he can't do so profitably. If he leads the jack, East just covers with the king, right? And now it goes ace and the 10 is promoted. That blows the trick. If he plays the 4, East can just play second hand low. And now you've got the choice of either playing the 9, which loses to the 10, or you can go up ace, but now the opponents have the master club. And the same thing works from South's perspective. If South is on lead in this situation, leading clubs, obviously you have to give up a trick, right? You can either cash the ace of clubs and the defense gets the other trick, or you play the 9 of clubs and East just shrugs and wins the king on the first round. This is what's known as a frozen suit. Nobody can attack it profitably. Back to my being on lead here at trick 6. So we've seen what happens when you play the queen and when you play the 7. Let's get back to this 10 of clubs thing that Deep Finesse is telling us is right. Watch what happens if we lead the 10. If Declare plays the jack, partner plays the king, and we now have a tennis with the queen 7 left over the ace, right? My partner still has an entry in spades, so the second he wins a spade, he can just lead a club through, and I'll have the tennis over the dummy's remaining 9x, right? Or Declare could duck, but notice what the 10 does to the power of the 9. It completely neutralizes it, right? Before, when I led the 7 and Declare ducked, the problem for my partner was that the 9 was sitting in the dummy, right? He could either go up with the king and give up a trick that way, or he could duck and let the 9 and the dummy win. So the solution, if we're looking at all the cards, or if we're imagining, remember a lot of bridge defense and Declare play is projecting things, using your imagination. Imagination is important at bridge, very important. When we lead the 10 of clubs, we blot out the 9 in essence, okay? So if Declare plays small here and partner can now play small, South can't just win the 9 now. South would have to win the ace, and then we have the 2 master clubs, right? We get our 2 club tricks. Or Declare could duck it, but now all I have to do is play another club. The suit's not frozen anymore. We have the queen and the king. He has the ace. There's no way for him to get a second trick. So the 10 of clubs is the club that unfreezes the suit. Let's go see if I have any other notes on vocabulary for you here. So that's frozen suit. Nobody can attack it profitably. Surround play is what we've done here. So we would say that the 10 surrounds the 9 here. Okay, so be on lookout for situations where you've got to attack a suit and you've got something like queen 10 and the Declare has ace, or the dummy on your right has ace 9. Okay, that'll be left. It's called a surround play. If you are on offense, so let's take you back to the very beginning of the hand. I think the easiest way to do it here is just to export the hand again. Forget the north-south cards, forget what the contract is. Let's just say that you were declaring the hand with east and west cards and you had to attack this club suit for the most tricks possible. The normal play would be to finesse south for the jack of clubs, right? You just at some point shrug and lead a club to the 10 and hope that either won the trick or forced the ace from north. And then you would have either 2 or 3 club tricks, depending on how they broke 3-3. But anyway, the normal play would be at some point to lead a club to the 10. Let me give you a hypothetical. What if your left-hand opponent, like here we're east, what if South had opened a no trump showing 15 to 17, and you had seen all the high card points except for the club suit? You hadn't seen the ace or the jack of clubs. And at that point, you knew that South had shown up with 13 points, okay? And we're trying to figure out who's got the ace and who's got the jack. Well, South would have to have the ace to get up to a 1 no trump opener. And he couldn't have the jack without the ace because that would only give him 14. So there might be a situation where we could tell for whatever reason, and I gave you the most obvious one, that South had the ace and North had the jack. And in that situation, you would want to play the club suit the same exact way on offense that I showed you how to play the suit on defense, right? You would get to the dummy and lead the 10, hoping that, you know, North has the jack and either covers and now you finesse for the 9 on the other way around, or North ducks and the 10 would force the ace from South. So I want you to appreciate that. I don't know if this is obvious or not, but the defensive card combinations work on offense also, right? So if you could figure out a position where you thought that your right-hand opponent had the jack and your left-hand opponent had the ace, you could do what's called, from a declare play perspective, it's called a backward finesse. All right, so backward finesse, surround play, frozen suit. One more point I want to talk about here. We always go to the score slip, right? Here's the score slip. And these are from North-South's perspective. So let's see. If North-South gets a plus score on this deal, right, that would be 100% of the match point. Actually, let's take it from the East-West perspective. If we go minus here, I guess these are from East-West perspective. If we go minus, there's only one minus score, right? This is the bottom of the score slip. We get 0. Okay. The next best thing we can do is get plus 50, right? So if we don't find that surround play, we're getting a 0. If we find that surround play and beat 2 hearts 1, that gets us up to 28%, right? The next best thing we could do is push them to 3 hearts and beat it 2. Plus 100 would get us 57%. The next best thing we could do is actually go ahead and compete in diamonds. And it works out that, like, if they let us play 3 diamonds, or if they even push us 4 diamonds, we can make 130. And that would be worth 78%. So basically, you see that competing and taking these extra tricks, each level of improvement you can get on this board, from going minus, which is worth 0, to going plus 50, which is worth 1/4 of a board, to going plus 100, which is worth half a board, to going plus 130, which is worth 3/4 of a board. Each of those increments was roughly 25% of the match points. Now on Tuesday, we played 22 boards. There's 100% that you could theoretically get in your score. 100% divided by 22 is about 4.5%, right? So each board you play is worth 4.5%. And if we can improve our score by 1/4 by taking an over trick or by competing the right way, 1/4 of 4.5%, that's a little over 1%. That can easily, many, many nights, that's the difference between first place and second place. And then it's almost always the difference between, say, second and third place, or third and fourth place, fourth or fifth place. You can't go to sleep on these things. You got to be greedy. You got to try to get a plus score. Then you got to try and get 100 instead of 50. Then you got to try and get 110 instead of 100. Then you got to try and get 130 instead of 110. You can't afford to fall asleep at match points. I know slams are exciting, but no matter how exciting it is, the board's only worth 4.4%. Though really down in the trenches, the game is won and lost. Getting these tricks, competing to the appropriate level, that's how you win. And card play, obviously, is very important. That's the meat and potatoes of match point scoring. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on surround play, backward finesse, frozen suits. That's a suit where nobody can attack it, or else they give up a trick. And, you know, again, an analysis of what the match point scoring is going to look like. You cannot fall into the lazy trap of thinking the match points is binary. Beating it is good, not beating it is bad. You got to be more nuanced than that. Anyway, happy holidays. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you soon.